Well, hello, BookTube. Welcome back to the History Shelf. My name is Peg, and I've got a bunch of new military books, military history books I wanted to highlight for you. It's been a while since my last video. For those of you who are curious, or if you have followed this channel a long time and you want to know what's been going on, stick around until the end. I do have some updates for you that might explain some of my absences, and yeah, might be a little less jovial than I normally am, but I am excited to show you these books, and thanks to the great folks at Bloomsbury Publishing and Osprey and Casemate, we're going to be doing all three of these major publishers. We've got a lot of new military history coming. So, but anyway, if you, my longtime viewers that are, have grown to be my friends, and just stick around until the end or fast forward, and I can let you know, because I don't want to get too personal in the beginning, because I've got business to attend to here. We're going to start with a major new release from Osprey. I was so excited to see this book. This is Cy Shepard's Crescent Dawn, The Rise of the Ottoman Empire and the Making of the Modern Age. It's a nice, big, beefy history here. Yeah, an impressive account of one of the great contests in world history, and that is from Roger Crowley, whom I have read, and I reviewed one of his books. I think it was The Siege of Acre, I believe. I have a dedicated book review in my playlist for book reviews, so Roger Crowley's book. But anyway, Cy Shepard's Crescent Dawn. This just came out. I think it's available now. I got a finished copy. So let me read a little bit to you about what this covers. This is a groundbreaking new history of the wars of the Ottoman expansion, a global conflagration that crisscrossed 3 continents and ultimately defined the borders and future of modern Europe. But this is not the story of a clash of civilizations between East and West. Europe was not united against the Ottoman Empire, and while religious imperatives were critical to the motivations of all the key actors involved, these in no way fell neatly along the Christian-Muslim divide. Cy Shepard expertly charts how alliances shifted as the world lurched from the medieval era to the Renaissance and Reformation. So the book features all the legendary figures of the period, from Mehmed the Conqueror and Suleiman the Magnificent to Charles V and Vasco da Gama, and locations as varied as the sumptuous palaces of Constantinople and the bloody battlefields of the Balkans. And let's see here. Through the colorful history brings the great battles of the age to life and clearly shows, this is the key here, how the wars for and against Ottoman expansion constituted the first true world war. And that is your argument. You got to, sometimes through this jacket copy, you got to see what is the theme, the thesis, the argument that the author is trying to make. So the first true world war. I love it. And the making of the modern age. So, and I love that the cover is great. Osprey's really been upping their game with just their covers, and then just their design layout I've been noticing a shift, and it's really been great. So obviously lots of color inserts, photos, artwork. So this is going to be a juicy one. Another brand new release. I think it should be available now, if not soon. This is more of almost like a coffee table book. Very heavily illustrated. Nice glossy pages. This is Boots on the Ground, Modern Land Warfare from Iraq to Ukraine by Lee Neville. As you can see, it's a wider book. Again, more of a coffee table book. We're going to have a lot of just photographs. Ooh, there's a really good one here of this tank. If you're a military history nerd, you love this kind of stuff. Let's take a look-see. Let's see what the jacket says here. Boots on the ground. Using lessons drawn from recent history, including the war in Ukraine. Oh, don't get me started on that. Boots on the Ground offers a fascinating insight into how the armies and battlefields of the near future may look. Each chapter details one key aspect of modern land warfare, expertly assessing the technologies and tactics used at the sharp end. Covering topics from ground-based air defense and next-generation artillery to main battle tanks and infantry fighting vehicles, it is packed full of detail and full-color contemporary photographs. The book also reveals the increasing importance of uncrewed aerial and ground vehicles in electronic warfare and how cyber operations will have a direct impact on ground warfare. And I was just going to mention this, but they go right into it in the second half. This has been evident in Ukraine, where drones are a big feature of the next, all the wars to come in the future, where drones constantly watch overhead, where loitering munitions hunt even individual soldiers, and where an intercepted radio call can mean sudden death. But a case is also made for the continued importance of combined arms. Now, what does combined arms mean? That means the infantry, armor, artillery, and engineers all working together, showing how drones and cyber technology can act as a force multiplier. You'll hear that a lot in military circles. But how land battles will ultimately still be fought by well-trained boots on the ground, hence the name of the book, including case studies from Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, Yemen, and Ukraine. Renowned modern warfare expert Lee Neville also offers an assessment of NATO armies. This is going to be good. And special operations forces and how prepared they are for a possible hot war scenario against the evolving threats of Iran, Russia, and China. And this last piece of the book is going to be it's prescient, and it's like I'm watching history unfold in real time. And I think NATO is doing some, they've been doing some drills and training NATO armies. So it's already happening. It's already happening, this hot war. So anyway, boots on the ground. I am going to be tapping into this. Oh, Boomer. My dog just got up. I knew he's restless. He's like, it's dinner time. I'm going to be tapping into this. Specifically, I'm really interested in the NATO aspect. So, but anyway, brand new from Osprey. Check this out. All right, let me just let Boomer out. Okay, next book I have from Osprey. Again, like I said, they are really upping their game with just their design and their artwork on the covers. But I'm really excited to get this history book on American Revolution. Usually I get contemporary war titles, World War II, Vietnam kind of stuff from Osprey, but now we're kind of we're going backwards in time, which I love, and we're looking at American Revolution. This is a brand new book. When does it come out? Did it already come out? Yes, it did. February 11th. This is From Trenton to Yorktown, The Turning Points of the Revolutionary War by John R. Moss. Again, by Osprey is the publisher. See here, for 8 grueling years, I'm going to read from the pub sheet here, the American-British military forces struggled in a bloody war over colonial independence. This conflict also ensnared Native American warriors and the armies and navies of France, Spain, the Dutch Republic, and several German principalities. From frozen Canada to tropical Florida and as far west as the Mississippi River, the Revolutionary War included hundreds of campaigns, battles, and skirmishes on land and sea in which soldiers and sailors fought and died for causes, crowns, and comrades. In this masterful yet accessible narrative of America's fight for liberty, John R. Moss identifies the 5 decisive events that secured independence for the 13 hard-pressed but determined colonies. These include not only the obvious military victories such as Trenton, Princeton, and Yorktown, but also the leadership and reforms that ensured Washington's forces were capable of enduring the harsh conditions of the winter of 1778. Similarly, King Louis XVI's decision to supply Continental troops during the Saratoga campaign with desperately needed soldiers, arms, money, and fleets is also detailed as a key factor. These turning points, not all of them triumphs on the battlefield, delivered a victory for the new United States by challenging conventional interpretations of what ensures victory in warfare. From Trenton to Yorktown offers a fresh perspective on the Revolutionary War. Fabulous. And this author was on tour recently at a few places. Vermont, Connecticut, Ohio, D.C., and Virginia. Fantastic. Maybe at some point I'm trying to do more author interviews. Things have to settle down a bit before that is going to be happening. But again, I'll mention that at the end of the video. From Trenton to Yorktown, from Osprey Publishing, out now. I know Bill Rutenberg, you love your American Revolutionary history, so this might be something I'll be passing along to you after I read it, if you're interested. Let me take a sip of seltzer. Okay, and I think this one is from Casemate. This one, I like memoirs, all different kinds, from all different angles, from all different experiences. This is Amos Horev's The Way It Was autobiography, Unique Israeli Leader and Visionary. Okay, so, and this was put out by Peter E. Randall, publisher, but I think Casemate distributed it, and I was interested in it, so I said send my way. So what is this one about, and who is Amos Horev? This important memoir, translated into English, here we go, for the author's 100th birthday, tells the life story of Major General retired Amos Horev, a visionary leader whose contributions helped shape Israel's growth across many fields. Rooted in memories of growing up in Jerusalem in the 1920s and 30s, where he built foundational friendships with other future leaders, such as Yigal Yadin, Uzi Narkis, and Yohei Ben Nun, Horev tells the story of Israel through the personal lens of his own experiences. One of the first Palmash commanders and deputy to Yigal Allon and Moshe Dayan during Israel's War of Independence, he went on to shape the evolution of the Israel Defense Forces weaponry and logistics, later serving as president of the Technion, Israel Institute of Technology, and chair of the board of Rafael Advanced Defense Systems. Presented the Israel Defense Prize in 2011 by President Shimon Peres. In 2022, Horev received the Chaim Herzog Prize from the Hebrew University for his, quote, unique contribution to the state of Israel, end quote, and, quote, as a role model and an example to many who follow in his footsteps. I can speak, end quote. And here is the man as a young man, Amos Horev. Okay, but this is his autobiography, translated into English for his 100th birthday. So I love it when books become available for the first time in English. So this looks like a really good read. And I've always been interested in Israeli leaders, military or political or otherwise. I'm just fascinated. So The Way It Was, this is out right now. Check it out on Casemate. And I think I've been meaning to show you this. I got a paperback version. This was released a couple years ago in hardcover. A few years ago, and actually in 2020, but they just released it in paperback or softcover, so I think it's more affordable. But this is from Casemate, and any of you out there who just can't get enough of anything Pearl Harbor, we've got a new book here for you, and it's in softcover, so it's definitely cheaper. This is Pearl, December 7th, 1941, by Daniel Allen Butler. I'm hearing noises. Okay, I'm hearing noises. I don't know if the dogs are making noises or... We're going to read from this. A lot of blurbs. No, here we go. Pearl, December 7th, 1941, is the story of how the U.S. and Japan let peace slip away on that day which will live in infamy, when more than 350 dive bombers, high-level bombers, torpedo planes, and fighters of the Imperial Japanese Navy did their best to cripple the United States Navy's Pacific Fleet, killing 2,403 American servicemen and civilians and wounding another 1,178. It's a story of emperors and presidents, diplomats and politicians, admirals and generals. And it's also the tale of ordinary sailors, soldiers, and airmen. In telling it, Butler shows how both sides blundered their way through arrogance, overconfidence, racism, bigotry, and old-fashioned human error to arrive at the moment when the Japanese were convinced that there was no alternative to war. Can't speak. So, I always love every year, I'm going to read a good book on Pearl Harbor. It's endlessly fascinating. Got lots of photos I have never seen before. Japanese pilots giving their final briefing. Wow. Yeah, this is a lot of photos I've never seen before, especially this one right here. I think that was is that a Higham Field, or I forget what they call that. Anyway, so this is out in softcover now, guys. So definitely check it out. Casemate Books, Daniel Allen Butler, Pearl. I've got a couple of books here on a Polish leader, Polish military. And who am I talking about? I'm talking about General Sikorski. It's funny how Casemate distributes these books, but we got one from Pen and Sword. And I think this is just a standard biography. General Władysław Sikorski, 1881 to 1943, by Evan McGilvray. And it's a slim little volume from Pen and Sword. Let's see here. General Władysław Sikorski was the head of the wartime Polish government and Polish commander-in-chief from 1939 to 1943. Sikorski rose to prominence in Poland between 1910 and 1918 as part of the movement towards Polish independence, achieved in 1918. In 1920, Sikorski was largely responsible for the defeat of the Red Army. In 1926, he fell from favor following a military coup. During this fallow period, 1926 to 1939, Sikorski traveled mainly in France. He also wrote influential military science treatises. In September 1939, Germany and the Soviet Union invaded and annexed Poland. Sikorski, his military officers refused by the Polish government, fled to Romania. There he was intercepted by the French ambassador to Poland and taken to Paris, where he established a Polish government in exile and rebuilt the Polish army. In May 1940, France was overrun by Germany. Sikorski removed himself and his government to London. There he began to rebuild the Polish army largely lost in France. Following the German invasion of the Soviet Union, Sikorski was forced by the British government to accept the Soviets as allies. This led to a larger Polish army being formed in the Soviet Union and sent to the Middle East, commanded by General Anders, who was to become a thorn in Sikorski's side. By 1943, the two men were clearly enemies. Sikorski died in an air crash off Gibraltar. Spoiler alert, the cause has never been satisfactorily established. Well, so this is going to give you an overall view of who the man was, what he was doing, a good light biography. Okay, but let's get into the death, right? So this one is from Pen and Sword, okay? And then this one is from, I think it's Frontline Books. Frontline Books. So this one is The Death of General Sikorski, the Polish leader's last flight in 1943 in the tangled web of Poland, the Allies, and the Soviets, by Peter Zablocki. So we're going to find out about that controversial death here. I can't read all. This is a lot of text in here. I'll just read the beginning. The plane crash at the height of the Second World War, which claimed the life of the Polish Prime Minister, General Władysław Sikorski, ranks among the most enduring mysteries of the conflict. It was a death that shifted European alliances and loyalties, brought Stalin into the Anglo-American camp, and sealed Poland's fate for the remainder of the 20th century. Let's see here. Let's jump down to the crash. Leaving from a layover stop at Gibraltar on July 4th, 1943, having visited Polish army units in Iran, Sikorsky's RAF Liberator crashed into the sea just 16 seconds into its flight. While Stalin privately blamed Churchill, the Germans were more public in accusing the British. Others pointed to the Soviets or even the Poles. Interesting. A British court of inquiry convened in 1943 presented an inconclusive report on the crash's cause or foul play and locked up most of its files until 2043. Wow. Lacking a respected leader, Poland fell out of favor with the Allies, who allowed Stalin to redraw the Polish borders and establish a pro-communist puppet state in Poland until 1990. The Death of General Sikorsky is more of a political thriller than a conspiracy book, telling an often complex and enthralling story of a tragedy within a tragedy, that of a man and his nation. So this is going to be interesting. I think these two books will definitely, I'll be reading these sequentially. I'm going to be reading this first to just get his background, and then this book, which should be really, sounds like a page turner. So thank you to Casemate for those two. What else do we got here? Okay, we're going to do this one here. This is a reissue. This is a very rare piece of fiction, although Casemate started to publish some fiction titles, and then they kind of stopped. But this is a reissue of a book that was first published in 1990, a novel. And this is Break Contact, Continue Mission by Raymond D. Harris. Put out by Casemate. This book came out late last year in December, so like I said, I'm a little bit behind. It says here, let's do this so you don't see my reflection. Join Garner, Dodge, and the rest of RT Iowa as they venture across the fence to help stem the flow of the North Vietnamese on the Ho Chi Minh Trail. Tense hours of moving in areas denied to the U.S. military are interspersed with fierce firefights. Back at Khantum, the Green Berets unwind with wild abandon, while the recon first sergeant makes repeated, often doomed attempts to ensure the team's success and survival. First published in 1990, this classic account of Military Assistance Command Vietnam studies... Okay, this isn't the name of a unit or a group. It's a long one. Military Assistance Command Vietnam Studies in an Observation Group. Okay, was written as a novel by a veteran of Recon Team Iowa to bring his experiences and those of fellow, and here is the acronym of what I just said, MACV SOG soldiers, to a wider audience at a time when their dedication and sacrifice was little known. The small, tight recon teams, each comprising 3 U.S. soldiers and 5 to 7 indigenous allies, undertook some of the most hazardous missions of the war. They would operate for hours or days in areas controlled by the North Vietnamese in order to collect essential intelligence on the enemy's disposition. The unit would receive many accolades, but also suffer sky-high casualties. With a new author's note and epilogue, Break Contact, Continue Mission is Harris's tribute not only to the American soldiers that he fought alongside, but to the Montagnard fighters of Recon Team Iowa. And then he names them, sir. So yeah, this one was... I was interested, I was trying to source this book for Historical Novels Review until I realized this had already been published, because we cover in Historical Novels Review new novels, not anything that's already been published. But I'm going to read it myself and enjoy it. I love military history, I love military fiction, and of late I've been really intrigued by Vietnam stories. I've been liking them more and more, enjoying them more and more. So, Break Contact, Continue Mission by Raymond D. Harris. That is out right now. Cranking along here. Let's see what we have here. We've got Stalingrad. We've got... let's go back to Poland for a minute. This is another frontline book. Hitler in Poland, How the Independence of One Country Led the World to War in 1939 by Norman Ridley. This book is out right now. Let's see here. What are we going to look at in this book? Following the end of the First World War, the newly reformed state of Poland was wedged uncomfortably between the two dominant nations of Germany and the Soviet Union, as we know. With their diametrically opposed political philosophies, both of Poland's neighbors plotted continuously to reclaim its lands that had up until recently been part of the once great but now defunct German and Russian empires. In order to protect itself, Poland was obliged to plot and negotiate with both of its neighbors to try and prevent them from realizing their ambitions to eviscerate the country. Let's see here. There's a lot to read. How the independence of one country. Yeah, okay. So it's basically saying the United States had been instrumental in the creation of the Polish state after the First World War. Wilson, in particular, stoking the Poles' growing, powerful nationalistic fervor. As Norman Ridley reveals, this was the beginning of a turbulent period for Poland. There was, for example, the dramatic and improbable miracle on the Vistula when Polish forces defeated the Communist Red Army in 1920, mentioned in that last book, and in so doing halted the spread of communism across Eastern Europe, as well as bitter ethnic battles between Germany and Poland for the political control of Upper Silesia. There were also the burning ambitions of Weimar Germany and later Nazi Germany to reclaim lands stripped from them and incorporated into the new state of Poland at Versailles. Then this is key here. Despite America's initial support after the war, the U.S. thereafter showed little interest in Poland's predicament, something I've always really just been disappointed by. I think Poland is just, it's a bellwether. It's the canary in the coal mine, and, I think, and then we're seeing that happen now in the war going on in Ukraine. But Poland's role in the history of, in World War II, I think this book is going to, touch on that angle about just how people just were not courageous enough to stand up for Poland until it was too late. But anyway, I'll be interested in reading this. So, Hitler in Poland by Norman Ridley from Frontline Books. And then we're going to go to Italy. This one is interesting. This is from Fonthill Books. This book is out now. Really vibrant cover, but we've got Fascist Italy at War, 1939 to 1943 by Thomas X. Ferenzi. Look at that. Fascist Italy at War. In the late 1930s, Fascist Italy's participation in 3 wars in Ethiopia, Spain, and Albania had taxed its martial capabilities to the utmost. In June 1940, seduced by the prospect of battlefield glory and swift territorial acquisitions, Mussolini brought Italy into the war alongside his powerful German ally. This great folly, committed while the Italian armed forces were grossly unprepared for a sustained conflict against the Allied powers, culminated in the deposition of the Duce, an Anglo-American invasion of Italy, and a brutal occupation by Italy's former Axis partner. This book is a revelatory account of Italy's role in the Second World War that draws on rarely seen archival evidence. Okay, it examines Italy's disastrous military performance in the Balkan, North African, and Russian theaters, which was exacerbated by subpar training, inexpert leadership, and limited war material, to demonstrate the catastrophic consequences of Mussolini's war policy. It also explores, in absorbing detail, the political machinations behind the scenes. These cynical intrigues, not only between the Axis leaders, but also between the leading fascist personalities, undermined the stability of the fascist regime and ultimately led to its dissolution. All right. So this looks pretty good. Got your standard insert full of photographs. As always, these interesting little keyhole histories from Osprey and Casemate and their imprints. I wanted to show you this book because it's another big beefy book, and this one is Vietnam history, but it's also post-Vietnam, and I'm really, really keyed into this. This is from Pen and Sword Books, and this is Vietnam and the Cold War, 1945 to 1954. French imperial decline and defeat. And I've always been intrigued by this battle. Dien Bien Phu. Dien Bien Phu by John Pike. Did I say that? And that's a nice, thick book. It's going to be a big read. This is going to be really good. A forensic study of war, imperial history, and international relations following the Second World War and leading into the Cold War and defeat of Western imperialism in Asia. And above all, the story of the pivotal battle and French defeat at Dien Bien Phu. It shows France's revanchist attempt to regain imperial glory in her former, and glory is in quotes, to regain imperial glory in her former Asian empire following humiliation in World War II, defeat, and Vichy. The effort was spurred by de Gaulle's, someone's got a typo in here. De Gaulle is not spelled correctly. The effort was spurred by de Gaulle's chauvinism. I'm hoping that doesn't mean we're going to have typos in here or misspellings. Oh, I just went by it. I see they have de Gaulle is spelled correctly in the book, but it's in the jacket. This is incorrect. The effort was spurred, let me get back to this, by de Gaulle's chauvinism and desire to recover France's honor and reputation after so many humiliations by friend and foe. The communist-led Viet Minh were guided to victory by ruthless revolutionary Ho Chi Minh, far from the attractive Uncle Ho, who was revered as a communist saint, in contrast to louche playboy Emperor Bao Dai and the very able General Giap. Communist strength in rural Vietnam society, the Viet Minh represented a nation in arms, was backed by supplies from Communist China and the Soviet Union. It was an existential struggle on the French side, the end of café society and the gravy train for planters, officials, the military, and politicians. Military matters, including General Giap's strategy and tactics, are analyzed in detail. But it was a soldier's war, told at ground level, and readers will feel the heat and fear of battle, be shocked at war crimes, and intrigued by the tales of Graham Greene et al. The global importance was not lost on the great powers following exhaustion from World War and in the shadow of the Cold War. All great leaders were involved. Roosevelt, Truman, Eisenhower, Churchill, Stalin, Khrushchev, Zhou Enlai, and Mao Zedong. Under the shadow of the A-bomb, a negotiated peace and first détente of the Cold War would end in the sumptuous salons of Geneva. John Pike, he is a graduate of Oxford University in economics and politics and a published military historian and legal academic. He seems to know his stuff. This is going to be good. Now, I wish that the jacket copy had been proofed. Hey, Pen and Sword Books, I am available. I can do some spot proofreading for you. Maybe for your soft cover, your release and paperback. I can tell you what the few errors that I've seen in the liner copy. So anyway, but I'm still looking forward to reading this. I'm sure the copy itself is fine. I think the marketing just might have missed some stuff in here. Missed copy editing it, which that's what I do. I'm a copy editor and a copywriter. So I can help you out. Vietnam and the Cold War by Pen and Sword Books. Then we got some of these slim volumes that I love so much. I kind of fell off of these, but I'm trying to get back on the train. These are the Osprey slim editions of the campaigns, and this one is Jamestown, 1622, the Anglo-Powhatan Wars. Powhatan, by Cameron Colby, illustrated by Marco Caparoni. Again, see, they're just so slim, but this is campaign number 401, brand new. And again, I just love the artwork. They're just so imaginative and creative. But they're richly illustrated. Gives you a high overview. Just something to wet your whistle. Look at these guys. Look at this artwork. That is Jamestown right there. Let's see here. From the establishment of Jamestown in 1607, English settlers in Virginia maintained a shaky relationship with the Powhatan Confederacy. As the settlers expanded their profitable tobacco fields, bolstered by new supplies and people each year, Powhatan tribes grew increasingly wary of English power. In 1622, Chief, Opechancanough shattered the peace with surprise simultaneous attacks on Jamestown and its surrounding settlements, during which 347 English settlers, one-third of the Virginia colony, were killed in a single day. Opechancanough hoped to eliminate the European presence with a decisive blow, but instead began a decade-long war with Jamestown. In this engaging and expertly researched work, Cameron Colby narrates the tumultuous events of the colony's early years. Engagements between 1607 and 1632 are brought vividly to life using battle scene artworks and period images. So, I'm really tickled to have this one to add to my Osprey campaign series. And then we have these fun little essential histories that Osprey does that are just, again, they're teasers. They get you curious. But if you don't want to, like, say, pack a big book on a plane on the Roman Empire or whatever, this is something you can take with you, and it's just very nice and light and easy. But this is their new release, Caesar's Gallic Wars, 58 to 50 BC by Kate Gilliver. This is one of their latest releases. Julius Caesar was one of the most ambitious and successful politicians of the late Roman Republic, and his rapid but bloody conquests of the Celtic tribes led to the establishment of the Roman province of Gaul, which is modern France. Caesar's commentaries on his Gallic Wars provide us with the most detailed surviving eyewitness account of a campaign from antiquity. Respected Roman military historian Kate Gilliver makes use of this account and other evidence to consider the importance of the Gallic Wars in the context of the collapse of the Roman Republic and its slide towards civil war. This revised edition contains expanded sections on several of the campaigns and battles, including information on the stunning recent archaeological finds identified as relating to Caesar's massacre of the Usipetes and the Tencteri. It's the name of a tribe, Tencteri. With full-color maps and new images throughout, this is an accessible introduction to one of the most important conflicts of the ancient world. I haven't read too much about his Gallic Wars, so this will be a nice starting place for me. And then, of course, I have a multitude of books on Roman history, military history that I can kind of tap into and hopefully just go a little bit deeper into the Gallic Wars. So, thank you, Osprey. This is another new release from Osprey. I have the advanced reading copy of this. This is not the finished copy. We're going to go back to World War II, and then I'm going to start wrapping up this video, even though I've got a few of these left. I might save these for the next military history video. Mediterranean Sweep. Okay, this is actually going to be coming out in March 11th. This is Mediterranean Sweep, the U.S. Army Air Force in the Italian campaign. That's a great piece of artwork. Look at the tail gunner there. That's fantastic. By Thomas McKelvey Cleaver. Sorry, did I say that? I am a little bit out of it. I'll just hold that up for you guys. Let's see here. By mid-July 1943, there's that year again, it was obvious the Germans and Italians were defeated on Sicily. With last air units... What? Okay. Again, I'm available for copy editing and copywriting. I'm just going to put in the word I think it needs to be here. While last air units departed for the Italian mainland, the air war would continue to focus on enemy airfields on the Italian peninsula. The future of the war in the Mediterranean was at this point uncertain. With the lanes to the Suez Canal secure, the goal was now to set up the Allies for success by preventing the Axis powers from successfully invading England and preventing them from setting up defenses that would form an Atlantic wall to keep the Allies out of Europe. In order to do that successfully, there's words missing in this pub sheet. In order to do that successfully, they needed to continue the war in the Mediterranean. This book brings the campaign to life with first-person accounts of the action. Sweet. So this is coming out from Osprey, March 11th. I don't have a finished copy, but there's going to be photos in here and stuff, but not in the ARC advanced reading copy. So March 11th, guys. If you like your Air Force and Army Air Force in World War II history, you might want to check this one out. Okay, we're at 40 minutes, so I'm going to save these other handful of books for the next round because I know I've got more military history review copies coming. All right, so my goal is to make some videos while I can, because I might be traveling again soon. I'm kind of a private person in many respects, but I just want to share that my father is in hospice and has cancer, and I was out in Detroit all last week, spending time with him, and which was very special. I'm trying to keep it together. So let me just say, the channel is one of my joys and passions, but family comes first, and I'm going to be making videos while I can and when I am in a state of mind where I feel like I can bring something to you. And I wanted to get these military history books out to you so you guys can see. It's been a while since I've done them, but anyway, it's been a rough winter in many respects between just knowing of my father's illness, and now things are progressing very, very fast. And so I'll be traveling again probably soon. But I just wanted to let those of my friends out there who follow me on this channel, and we've talked in comments and elsewhere, just let you know what's going on. It's been a tough time, and I'm grateful for the time I did have. But yeah, so that's what's going on. So if I'm, if you sense something off about me, just know that I've got some heavy things happening in life, and that's it. So thank you for those of you who stuck with me in this video and wanted to find out what was going on, and I appreciate all of you out there who have just been such kind supporters of this channel. And as long as I'm able to make videos, I will. It's a tough time right now, so you might get moments where it's just like, gosh, Peggy hasn't posted in a while or hasn't done a new video. So just want to let you know that. I just thought you deserve to know that, because you have supported me in this channel. So thank you. Thanks for sticking with me. All right, guys. So I've got a lot of new fiction and historical fiction. I've had some wonderful independent authors send me their novels, and I'm trying to make time for as many as I can. And I'm still writing book reviews and stuff like that. So, but I've taken a little bit, off my plate, with everything going on. But anyway, I've got so many books to film yet. So just know that more is coming, and at some point I'll be doing I just want to show you, I want to talk about books I've read, and I still want to do my favorite books from 2024 video. It's going to be really delayed on that one, but yeah. So there's more to come, and as soon as things settle in my life, I can focus on making those videos for you. All right, guys. Well, without further ado, I'll let you go. But thanks for joining me here at the History Shelf. I appreciate you guys, and thanks for your patience. And until next time, take care and be well. And tell everyone that you love them. Take care. Bye-bye.